I'm Paula, and on this YouTube channel, I talk a lot about being a writer and about being an INFP. But what exactly is an INFP? Okay, well, to put it simply, an INFP is one of the many personality types listed on the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. And the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, it's basically, it's one of the most popular personality tests in the world. So essentially, you just answer all of the questions that it has on this little questionnaire, and then your answers provide a basic summary of how you see the world and how you make decisions. It's kind of like an analysis of how your mind works. So it's pretty cool. Now, some people take the questionnaire or personality quiz and they get the results INFP, like I did. And that's an acronym that means introverted, intuitive, feeling, and perspective. Perspective, I think that's right. So here's what those words mean. The I for introverted means that a person is more introverted than extroverted. So that's like saying, okay, this person, they get more energy, or they recharge their batteries by being in solitude, maybe like reading a book at home with their cat. Whereas an extrovert would get more invigorated by going to a party and being around lots of people. So yeah, an INFP is introverted. They feel more at peace and they get more enthusiastic by being on their own in solitude than with others. Next is the N for intuitive, and that means INFPs generally like to depend on their intuition and that we're more focused on the big picture rather than details. And that doesn't mean that INFPs just completely ignore all details all the time, because when they find something like a project that they're really passionate about, then they can become very, very detail oriented and meticulous. But generally, we are big picture people. Now, the F for feeling indicates that the INFP um, has a tendency to place high value on their personal morals and principles that are related to doing the right thing, quote unquote, rather than on a detached analysis that might favor what's the most logical thing for me to do here. Um, so yeah, we go with our gut on a lot of things, and usually our gut feeling, our intuition is shaped by our moral principles. The P for perceiving means the average INFP is all about being flexible and open to whatever happens instead of sticking to fixed plans. The INFP is sometimes called a dreamer or a healer. And they're often referred to as dreamers because they love to fantasize and to think about the what ifs and entertain the theoretical. Additionally, they're very idealistic. So if you put those two things together, an idealistic person who thinks like most people are good at heart, or everything really is going to get better, you take that and then you put that with someone who also enjoys entertaining the theoretical and is prone to daydreaming, and you can come up with a person who is typically quiet because they're daydreaming, stuck in their head, but every once in a while they will stand out and loudly promote radical political change, like maybe civil rights, equality, veganism, or environmental change. They will like stand up, shout as loud as they can, and sort of try to lead the pack in promoting change politically. And the average person might look at that INFP and their passionate stance about whatever it is they believe, and they might think, okay, that person is just a dreamer, because the average person probably doesn't believe that such big change is possible. But for the INFP who can see the possibilities because they live in the theoretical, this is no big deal. It's just something you just got to do. You got to make it happen. You got to make it change. Um, so yeah, that's what happens sometimes with INFPs. Also, what can happen is an INFP who is in a family that has very different personality types that are maybe more critical thinking, They rely more on, I guess you could say, critical thinking skills. The INFP may be an artist at heart because a lot of INFPs are very creative. So they might decide, you know what, I don't want to go to college. I don't want to do the typical 9 to 5. I want to pursue my art, and that's how I'm going to bring in some money. And of course, they're, not going to bring in that much. And their family might get frustrated with them and say, you're such a dreamer, be logical. So those are some of the reasons why INFPs are called dreamers. INFPs dive into the deep end of the theoretical. That's just our nature. And sometimes that's not a bad thing because when we're in those waters that not many people explore, we might find something really beautiful and bring it back to reality and foster change, much needed change in society. Now, they're also known as healers because most INFPs have an innate desire to have a positive impact on every single person they meet. So even though they're quiet, what usually happens with a healthy INFP is when they meet someone who's low and just kind of down and feeling bad, the INFP will pick up on that and try to do something to help them. They will often even go completely out of their way to serve that person and make their life a little bit sunnier. And that can be considered a form of healing. Because INFPs are introverted, even though they're creative and full of ideas and lots of passion, they typically keep it all on the inside until someone comes along who earns their trust. And then the INFP will literally not shut up about all the things they love and care about. Healthy INFPs often have a very childlike enthusiasm about life. It's just that the average person doesn't usually see that side of them, or they don't notice that at first because the INFP is so quiet. But once you get past the wall that we put up, you can easily see what we're really like, and it's I think it's pretty funny, probably. So to sum it up, the typical healthy INFP is non-judgmental, creative, a free thinker who loves to daydream, has a lot of empathy and a bit of a superhero complex because they're always trying to find ways to help people. And they may seem illogical to people who are very by the book because INFPs often base their life decisions on moral principles rather than on what would be the best thing for me right now. So that's us. Do you have a friend or family member who's an INFP? And if so, I would love to know what your experience has been like with them. Um, what have been some of the positive things and maybe some of the not so positive things that you've experienced with your loved one who's an INFP? Thanks for watching, and if you found this video helpful or enjoyed it, please feel free to like it and subscribe.